Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing? Love the way you look in the mirror and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food. It's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, new week, new opportunity and chance, and the best day ever to start your new healthy eating habits or fitness habits and exercise habits, and try a new experiment to improve your health, energy levels, vitality, and everything and anything in between that makes you happy. Today is a very important episode, guys. We will learn how to eat for health, to maintain your healthy weight or to lose some weight, to improve your metabolic markers, biomarkers. We just learn how to eat as a healthy human being without having to stick with some diet or counting your macros or counting your calories. So first concept we need to learn today, guys, we'll just dive deep right into it. So whole foods, processed foods. Obviously, as you probably heard from many sources, you want to consume as many whole foods as possible. And not just because they influence your health in a more beneficial way, but because whole foods, by not providing chemicals or any substances that harm your health. On top of that, they also provide you with essential vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, and proteins that your body actually needs for functioning. And not eating enough nutrients, again, vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, amino acids, and things like fiber, not eating enough of good quality nutrients and nutrient-dense food is just as bad as eating junk food. Because if your body not getting what it needs on a regular basis, you're gonna suffer. Your health gonna suffer, and you might not be eating bad stuff, quote unquote. But if you're not eating enough of good stuff that your body actually needs for life, then you're gonna suffer just as much, if not more. You can look up, for example, vitamin C deficiency or B12 deficiency or potassium and magnesium deficiency. Just look it up if you are curious how many really serious negative health effects can those deficiencies have. Anyway, whole foods provide you the most nutrition, the least processing, the least cooking done to food, the more nutrients you're gonna get, and the least of chemicals and substances that can harm your health you also gonna get. So whole foods, of course, those are foods that you can find in nature. Your meats, your fish, your vegetables, your nuts and seeds. And yes, when it comes to grains are whole foods too, but compare rice, for example, whole grain, and compare bread and pasta. Bread and pasta, processed food. So unless you see the grain, the whole grain, it's not whole foods. On the question of dairy, guys, I would not recommend dairy to a lot of people because by statistics, according to statistics, somewhere around 70% of people do not actually do not have the digestive enzymes or bacteria in their gut and their stomach to actually properly digest dairy products. That one aspect. So you're gonna have increased inflammation, indigestion, all kinds of inflammatory conditions in your gut and in your stomach. Then also, there is milk, sugar, lactose that can be converted into additional carbs. If you, let's say, drink a few gallons of milk, that'll probably carbs you'll ever need. But also the quality of dairy is getting worse and worse. A lot of animals have had antibiotics, hormones, and God knows what else, and that all ends up in our milk. And there are so many products that are not, for example, compared cheese, and then cheese-like product, and you never know, who does what, unless like in some countries it's highly regulated. Anyway, dairy, I'd rather you not have it or have very little of it. Or just as an experiment, if you consume dairy on a regular basis, go without it for a couple of weeks and see how your energy and your health improves. So that's on the question of dairy and grains. So yeah, there are whole grains too, even though, if you're on a low carb diet, on keto diet, or you've been hearing me, you've been listening to me for a while and you know that I'm on a low carb diet, I don't eat any grains, but I don't have anything against whole grains as long as you feel great on them and as long as you understand that whole grains are the grains that you actually can see, every single grain you can see, and you can separate pasta, bread, no matter if it says whole grain or whatever, or any kind of cereal, it's not whole grains unless you can actually see the whole grain. I hope you understand that. So in terms of cooking, either cook your food yourself using minimally procession, minimal temperature, so low to moderate temperature cooking, but also boiling, sauteing, steaming. You want to cook your food as much as needed to help your digestion, to help you to assimilate your nutrients, to enjoy the eating process, but you of course don't want to overcook it, destroying all the nutrients, frying at high temperatures, creating some carcinogens, substances that can potentially cause cancer and stuff like that. When you cook, make sure that to use my guide for cooking. When you cook, basically add stuff like salt, oils like coconut oil, olive oil. You got to be careful with temperature there, of course. Virgin, cold press, non-refined oil. So good quality olive oil, coconut oil, and then grass-fed. I'm stressing that grass-fed, ghee or butter like Kerrygold brand or similar. So grass-fed butter or ghee you can use for cooking. So basically salt, herbs, and spices that have no sugars or any kind of stuff added to it, and then some oils. This is the healthy cooking that I do and I recommend to people. You don't need anything else. So have your food whole. If you buy it cooked, also make sure that on the ingredient list you have, maybe salt, maybe some spices and herbs, but no chemicals, no stuff that belongs to scientific laboratory, and stuff that you wouldn't buy for your own kitchen. So that if you buy it already cooked. And again, freshness matters, guys. The more your food spends being cooked and being preserved, the less nutrients you get. And guess what? The less nutrients you get, the hungrier you stay. It's like that statistic. They did a lot of studies and they showed that, for example, if you're not getting enough proteins for your needs, and that vary from person to person, if you're not getting enough proteins from whole foods, the protein that your body actually needs, and there are different amino acids that your body actually needs. So if you're not getting enough protein, then you're going to be hungry until you get that protein that your body needs. So that's how vital nutrients are. Unless you're getting them, you're going to stay hungry. And the more your food stays cooked, the more your food is preserved. So for example, if you cook it on Sunday, by next Sunday there's going to be very little nutrition left, guys, and this is a huge thing. I want you to understand your food need to be freshly cooked. You may do some, prepping like washing or cutting, but try to cook your food right before when you eat it. Cook it really simply. That takes 5 to 10 minutes. For most prepared food, meaning pre-cut, pre-washed, all that it takes 5-10 minutes to prep it to be ready to eat. So whole foods over processed foods. And you can schedule, your Q&A with me if you have difficulties understanding what processed and whole foods are. But rule number 1 for healthy eating for life and weight loss and weight maintenance and health and energy is eating. I would eat, everything from whole foods. That is what means to eat like a human being. All the rest, food-like products in packages, all those, fancy and fun, snacky foods that really do not remind anymore of anything whole or made by nature. All these foods are entertainment that you can sometimes kind of try for fun, but it's not your food that you should be consuming on any kind of regular basis, guys. So whole foods, this is human food. So again, if you have any questions, schedule your free Q&A call with me. You can find the link in the show notes, and I'm gonna help you to figure out what is whole foods and what is not whole foods. But whole foods doesn't come with an ingredient list and some fancy package and marketing slogans. Then we talked about dairy, that you try to avoid it as much as possible, or at least go for a couple of weeks and see how it affects you. And then grains. Understand whole grains are the grains where you can see every separate grain, and then bread, pasta, cereals are not whole grains. So when it comes to meals, actual meals, you want to understand a few basic concepts. You need to mix the periods of fasting when you don't consume any nutrition, any calories, any food, maybe some, coffee, tea with nothing added, water, of course, are all fine. But fasting and eating, you need to eat like a human being. It is proven to be the best for health. You need to have 2, maybe 3 meals at most and no snack. 2-3 meals, no snacks. That's the kind of gold standard, and it works. And you need to have at least 12 hours in a 24-hour day when you have no foods coming in. Again, you can drink maybe some tea or maybe some coffee, depends on the time of the day, but a lot of water, of course, but no calories, no nutrition, just 2-3 meals. And how you should measure those meals, what you should be eating at those meals, probably the most important question, right, guys? So you're having 2-3 meals a day. Let's say you have 2 meals a day, and then you can divide that food into 3, kind of based on, your own experience or what you want to do anyway. So 2 meals a day. Protein. You need to consume protein at each meal. And protein, I mean protein-rich foods, of course. And those are meats, fish, chicken, eggs. There are also plant food sources, but there are really very few plant food sources that are rich in all the amino acids, all the proteins that your body actually needs. And also the problem with that is most of the vegan or non-meat, non-animal protein food sources are either processed, or you gotta eat a lot of them to get your protein requirements. But this is specifically, guys, for people who have nothing against animal products and who have nothing against any food groups. Like I have nothing against any food groups unless it's processed junk that harms your health. So 2 meals a day, protein-rich food. Again, by that I mean something like chicken, like meat, like eggs, like fish, something, meaty, protein. You can Google, protein-rich foods. And the amount of that you should consume, if you take your palm, your hand, and without fingers, your palm only, that is the size of your protein-rich food multiplied by 2. Yes, multiplied by 2, guys, because eating enough protein is essential for healthy metabolism, for especially if you're training, and everyone should be training. Exercise, should be a healthy part of your healthy lifestyle. So 2 palms of protein-rich foods at those 2 meals. You need to be getting enough proteins to stay satiated, to get all the essential amino acids that your body needs for basically everything it does, and to build almost every single cell structure in your body, and hormones, and so many other things. So 2 palms of protein-rich foods. Vegan, vegetarians, if you're having troubles, figuring out the amount of, and kinds of food you need to eat, again, schedule your call, don't be lazy, and I'll explain it to you too, for your example. Anyway, 2 palm size of protein for your 2 meals a day. And then make a fist right now, make a fist, you know how to make a fist. And 4 of those are going to be your non-starchy vegetables. Maybe your broccoli or Brussels sprouts or bell peppers or whatever it is. Also, you can Google non-starchy vegetables. So 4 fists at your 2 meals. You gotta have 4 fists of those. Of course, you can have less, but I would really recommend to have 4 fists to get all the vitamins and minerals you need, and of course organic and of the best quality, the least processed. Because broccoli, for example, if you steam them, or let's say you deep fry them, nutrition profile is going to be completely different. You're going to lose a lot of that essential nutrition when you cook your food at high temperature. So 4 fists of your non-starchy vegetables, and then 1 scoop or 1 handful, 1 handful, so make a handful, and 1 handful you can have of your starchy stuff, like whole grains, maybe a handful of rice, maybe, and just 1 handful, no more, or maybe sweet potato, or maybe 1 regular potato. So that's the amount of your starchy or carb-rich food per meal. If you're having it, after workout, or if you've been training really a lot these days, then maybe you have 2. But understand that, again, most of the people, during their day, we need like 100, 150 grams of carbohydrates, and that counts all your food. So you need to regulate your starch, your sugars, your carbohydrates, and by sugars I mean natural sugars coming from things like fruit, maybe, or berries. But anyway, we're not talking about berries here. Berries you can add up to your vegetable portion, okay? So 1 scoop of your starchy carb, like rice or potatoes or something like that. And that you're going to have 2 times a day. 2 times a day. If you decide to have it 3 times a day and you need more calories, feel free to do so. And then again, let's recap kind of. So 2 palms of protein-rich foods, 4 fists of your non-starchy vegetables, and here we also add our low carbohydrate, low sugar, natural sugar fruit. Your high sugar fruit like bananas or mangoes, add instead of your starch if you want to. And then 1 handful of starchy foods like rice or other grains, or maybe potato, or maybe high sugary fruits like banana. And then of course, eliminate all the added sugars, all the processed grains, all the processed foods. In general, try going without dairy. If you decide to have dairy, then have, the amounts depending on the kind of dairy. If you're having your yogurt, then probably have, a cup of yogurt. If you're having your cheese, then probably have a small slice, like 30-40 grams of it, not like the whole head of cheese. So again, 2 palms of protein-rich foods, 4 fists of vegetables, 1 handful of starchy food, and you're gonna have that 2 times with moderate activity. You're gonna have 3 meals like that, or add additional portions on top of your 2 meals, and then the rest of the day you must fast. This is, guys, how a healthy human being should eat. And, there are differences, there are different situations in life, but most of the time, for most of the people, that works. And again, whole foods, the best quality foods without antibiotics, hormones, pesticides, herbicides all the time. Foods that was minimally processed, cooked at low to moderate temperature to maximize the nutrition, not to minimize it. Ingredients, salt, herbs and spices, good quality fats for cooking, like olive oil, like grass-fed ghee or butter, like coconut oil. And I want to stress here, for cooking, so use the amount you need to cook, not so everything just kind of swims in the fat, or a stick of butter in your coffee. That's not gonna work, guys. So this is the guide to eat for a healthy human being who cares about energy levels, health, maximum nutrition from their foods, having healthy hunger, having healthy metabolism, and having good looking body. And if you do this, guys, 99% of you, or maybe at least 95% of you, gonna have the body that you need, that you're happy with for life. Nothing complicated, really nothing. You just need to do it consistently. And you think, oh yeah, I know that, but do you do it consistently? Really? Take a week and how many days you can stick with it 100%. That's actually what you know, not what you read somewhere. What you read somewhere, what you know from some other source at the back of your head is, and if you don't practice it, you do not know it. And again, what I notice for most people, the problem is that not that they don't know things, it's just that they don't do them consistently. And again, take a week and journal and see how consistent you are. You might discover that you're not as good at it as you thought you were. So to recap this episode, we talked about whole foods, processed foods, and why it's important to eat whole foods full of nutrition, why it's important to eat freshly cooked, freshly made food, not the food that stays in the fridge or wherever for weeks and days and months. And then we talked very important concept, meals and fasting, and how you should have 2-3 meals without snacking, and you should consume enough protein. You should consume your non-starchy vegetables. You can consume your starch if you choose to, but you gotta have some portion control. You gotta measure your food. You cannot eat unlimited of anything. At some point it's gonna backfire to you. So my guide to recap: 2-3 meals, you're gonna have 2 palms of protein-rich foods. Vegans, vegetarians, ask me for details. 4 feasts of non-starchy vegetables. Look up non-starchy vegetables. And then you're gonna have 1 scoop, if you wish, of your starch or your high sugary fruit. High sugar meaning natural sugars. Food, 1 handful of that, so maybe whole rice, so maybe sweet potatoes or regular potatoes or whatever it is you choose to eat for your starch. And that's it, guys. Your guide to healthy eating for a human being. Stay tuned for tomorrow and the day after. We're going to talk more about sleep. I got a lot of questions about, how do I organize my sleep so I don't compromise my fat loss and my muscle gains and just feel amazing, maximize my mental and physical performance. So sleep again tomorrow. On Wednesday, we will talk about stress. I'm always talking about how stress management is important for fat loss, for weight loss, and people ask me, but what does it exactly mean? Like meditation or something else? We're going to talk about practicality of stress management on Wednesday, specifically for fat loss, muscle gains, for maintaining your healthy weight and maintaining your health, longevity, and performance. On Thursday, finally, we're going to have someone who's going to talk about food industry and why it's all messed up. On Friday, we will have our fat loss episode from a physique competitors coach who know exactly how to dial your body fat percentage to single digits precisely. And then on Saturday or Sunday, we will have a surprise episode with someone who is really interested in practicing to the best of his ability diet and lifestyle principles to live as longest as possible. And I'm also passionate about longevity. But anyway, that's what's coming. Stay tuned on Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. I love you all, guys. Thank you for your attention. For me, please stay healthy, stay fit, invest in your health, and till next time, eat better daily.